Hey, what's up, guys? Okie doke. Here we go. This one's called Notes, but in a different way. There's a twist. This is not industry notes. What is this one? It is peer notes, okay? So it's notes from other writers, okay? So this one was brought to me by a friend of mine who gave her script to some people, right? And, the first round was like pro writers, and they come back, they're like, yeah, it's good, yeah, I like it, yeah, good job, and then she gives it to some writer peers, from Twitter, I assume, and then she says what she gets back is all this mishigas of fucking no one fucking agrees, makes perfect sense actually that writers with very little experience all disagree with each other. Because what are they probably doing? They're probably trying to give notes as to how they would write it, not to what the actual fucking story is. This is fucking typical, okay? And it's dangerous to listen to writers that say this shit, okay? And she also said, I wanted to thank them for the read, but explain, why the things they want me to cut are fucking vital to the story. And I said, don't do it. Do not do that. Because what that's going to do is that's going to make them dig their heels in deeper because they want to be smart, and they're going to defend their position because they're not used to giving real notes. That's the fucking problem. They're not used to it. They don't work for the fucking story department, or whatever, producer or whatever, executive or whatever. So then I just said, leave it alone, basically, and just thanks, cool, whatever. And, when you get all these notes like this, I recommend if there's anything in there that hits you in the gut, yeah, that's probably true, I like it, sit on it for a minute. Yeah, I do like that note, then do it. If there's shit you're like, what? This destroys my story. Then take that note and go like this. Goodbye. Fuck that note. No way. Because here's the thing. If you put your script out on Twitter, dude, and just put it up there and said, anybody can fucking read this and give me notes, guess what would happen? I promise you this would happen. You're gonna get conflicting notes across the board. Now what you do as an experiment is insert all those notes. Try it as a fucking fucked up Frankenstein experiment. You will get a script that is so fucking shitty that it'll be unreadable. And then try to give that script back to a pro writer. And they're gonna be like, dude, what in the fuck drugs did you take while writing this? Try to give it to a fucking agent. They'll be like, dude, what in the fuck is this? And not in a good way, okay? So that's the thing about Twitter writer that you gotta recognize, man. There's writers who've not done shit in the industry who are adamant about their fucking opinion on what good writing is. Unfortunately, they have nothing to back it up. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, but that's the fucking truth. Where's your fucking proof that your way is the right way? Well, I have these laurels from certain contests and so forth. I got semifinal in this, I got fucking that, blah, 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 blah. Who cares, dude? None of that has anything to do with Hollywood. It doesn't. It doesn't have anything to do with the industry. So that is not proof. You know what proof is? When a producer gives you notes and you say, okay, what's your fucking proof? And they're like, see all those movies on my fucking wall in my office? Okay? Count up the box office numbers on that shit. Go look at my fucking huge house. Go look at my car sitting right out front. Look at my wallet. Okay, there's my fucking proof. Look at my watch. It's 10 grand, There's my fucking proof. This is only an iWatch, but whatever. The producers, they have the proof, Look at my fucking gold statue right there. There's my fucking proof that I know what I'm talking about. But on the amateur, I'm gonna call it that for sake of clarity, pro, amateur, whatever, pro, non-pro, whatever you want to fucking call it. We need a distinction. they can be leading you away from your fucking goal, away from Hollywood with these bad notes. If someone's gonna come to you with a note that they want you to change the vital shit of the core of the heart of your fucking story, this is a note that is garbage. And this is a person that is not used to giving notes. You don't come at notes, actually, you don't come at, we write the screenplays actively. You come at notes passively. You don't come at notes actively. You need to change this, change that, change that. Then it'll be fine. No, you come at it passively. You say, if I'm reading someone's script, and we'll use the terminology, right, the lingo, if I'm bumped on something, my first thought is to ask them, what was your intention here? Not, it's wrong, it needs to be cut, but what was your intention here? And then they're like, well, because I'm like, it doesn't feel set up, I don't get it. And then, then they're like, well, on page 12, this happens, and then on page 65, this happens. And I'm like, okay, I kind of get what you're doing now. Your problem is not that this needs to be cut, you need to set it up. So we saw it way back then, we forgot, We're gonna forget, dude. So set it up, and then you're fine, None of your story has been changed. It's just heightened it, How can we bring this out more? That's probably the number one thing I say to people when I read their shit and I don't get something. And I ask them, what's their intention? And then they tell me their intention, and then I say, how can we bring that out more so we don't miss it? That's notes, dude. Quickly on writers groups can be fucking dangerous as well, because you can get in that vacuum where everybody's amazing, kind of like Twitter, everybody's fucking amazing, and then this little bubble, this little vacuum is floating off away out the fuck of Hollywood, out of the universe, into where they're so far away from what is actually happening that, but they think they're doing great. They think they're fucking onto something, but they're not. And I've sent my script to certain people before to say, hey, here, yeah, you can read it to see like what worked for me, but they're like, they're like little chipmunks, like hitting me with all these notes. I'm like, dude, I didn't ask you for notes. I figured out what's wrong with this script. I figured it out, everybody. You writing me a book about what's wrong with my script? Okay, excuse me, hold on, I'm almost done shredding the script. Oh my God, yay, I'm so smart. Excuse me. Sorry to interrupt you on your notes. That script already went out, okay? That script already got me signed, it already went out, it already fucking landed around town, I've already, fucking meetings and fucking people offer me to fucking write for them and shit. Calm down, okay? That's not why I gave you the script. I gave you the script so you could see, take notes, yeah, for yourself, not for me, okay? Like, calm down. But, so writer Twitter sometimes gets too ahead of itself and gets very happy about giving people notes. And I wonder why. Maybe it's because they feel like if they can give you notes, they feel better about their own script. If they can pick apart your script, they feel better about their script. But guess what? You can do that with any script. And I would recommend, if someone has gone further than you in the industry and they give you a script, read it to try to understand how the fuck they did it. Read it to try to understand what was it that the industry liked about their script, because it had to be something, right? So there's levels to this, If I'm brand new and someone who's signed gives me the script, I'm gonna read it from that standpoint. I'm not gonna read it to try to get them notes. I'm gonna try to read how the fuck, what about it got them signed. And then if I'm signed, someone, sells something, I'm gonna read that. What about it sold, And then I'm someone who's sold, and then someone who's got their shit made, I'm gonna read that. What about it helped them get it made, okay? And then someone who gets their shit made, then there's someone above them, they have a fucking hit movie. What about their script made it a fucking hit movie? Do you see what I'm saying? You gotta read it from that standpoint. If you're at the very bottom, dude, like, you really don't have the experience or the expertise or the knowledge or anything to be giving notes that adamantly. Like, you are the one who knows how this is gonna work when you have not done it. You haven't even proven to yourself that you can fucking do it. You know, instead of giving notes all fucking day, what I recommend is you know, read some scripts like that and go fucking apply it to your shit and go write something to end up in the place of the person that you're shredding. You know, isn't that your goal? It's one step at a time. I just laid out the steps. You're not just gonna go from here to fucking hit. That's not gonna happen. You're gonna be like this if you're fucking lucky, you know? So that's one thing that I think is fucking dangerous about Twitter is you have the blind leading the fucking blind. And you know, it's a great way for something to never fucking happen. And when we see these shout-outs, I'm just gonna say it because I think it's the fucking truth. We see these shout-outs, so-and-so script is amazing, says writer who's never been signed. What agent is gonna give any you know, clout, any weight to that? I can't think of one. And if there is one, it's someone you don't want to be signed with. You know, and I see people quickly on that note. I see people who I got signed, you know, and they're like, and people are like, by who? And they say, and I'm like, never heard of them. Never heard of them. You know, yeah, sure, you want to get signed and shit, but it's got to be someone who can fucking do something for you. Then you end up in this trap where people come back and they say, yeah, I signed a fucking contract for 4 fucking years. I've had 2 meetings in 4 years. You see what I'm saying? So, man, Twitter has some decent shit, but it also has some fucking crazy shit, you know? I went to Twitter reminds me of this. I went to a meetup years ago, probably 12 years ago, and there's probably 40 writers there, and I'm just listening, you know, fly on the wall. I'm just listening, you know, and the way everybody's talking, it's just delusional, man. It's fucking delusional. Like one person's like, I got a recommendation paper from my professor. I'm gonna take this to an agency and get signed. And I'm like, what? That's not how it works, you know? So blind leading the blind. And you know, this person's probably walking around, you know, the meetup telling people this, and they're probably like, oh my God, that's so amazing. You know, and I'm sitting there thinking like, that means nothing, dude, you know? And someone in there was talking about agents and shit. I'm like, yeah, I'm married to an agent. What did they do? Nothing. They just kept talking about themselves. And I'm like, see how stupid? Like, they can't even get out of it. Remember how I said the ego's got to match, dude? That ego does not match where the fuck they're at. You know, they're nowhere in the industry, but they already have this huge fucking ego. And so much so that they don't even hear the person next to them say, yeah, I'm married to an agent. They're looking for an agent. They're talking about that. And I said, yeah, I'm married to one. You know? And they're like, so, yeah, so, you know, this is Twitter sometimes, okay? So back to notes, man. You know, honestly, I wouldn't get notes from Twitter. And let me say this, I'll close it down. Writers groups, I don't recommend them. Some people do. I don't think it's a good idea. Here's why. Because I believe more in writer circles, and my writer circle is no one knows each other. You know, I go to them with my script, I go to them with my script, I go to them with my script. This person doesn't know them. That person doesn't know them. You know, I have another one. This person knows none of them. No one knows each other. But I know them, and they know me. So I'm getting clean reads, you know. And I trust them because they've all been in the industry to some degree. You know, they're not, you know, 100% green. So that's what I recommend. Get people that are not super fucking green to give you notes. Later, guys. That's it. Good luck.